Hi everyone, Anahita Rao here. A very happy new year to everyone, and I hope that it got off to a great start. So I wanted to speak briefly about the lunar eclipse coming up, fast approaching, on January the 10th, and so let's get into that. Yeah. So now, of course, the thing to remember is every 8 to 9 years we have an eclipse that affects us personally. It can touch your moon, sun, ascendant, or your dasha planet as well. So you have to see how it's impacting you depending on your natal chart. Some eclipses are more intense than others, and but generally you have a 6-month window to make changes or see changes that are coming your way. Now, with this one, we have a lunar eclipse taking place in Gemini on January the 10th at approximately 7 p.m. UTC, in the nakshatra of Punarvasu at around 25 degrees of Gemini. Rahu's going to be causing this eclipse, although it's going to be about 12 degrees away in Ardhra, so it's not that close by. However, the eclipse is getting closely aspected by Saturn and Pluto. It's the big Saturn and Pluto conjunction that we're hearing about. I'd say the key to handle this particular eclipse energy is communication. We have a very combust Mercury sitting between the Sun and Saturn, so this will somewhat act as a buffer. This lunar eclipse is very emotionally challenging because the moon is heavily afflicted here. So you would benefit doing any remedy for the moon. Warm and long baths, for instance, facials, massages, listening to soothing music, getting lots and lots of sleep, getting lots and lots of water, spending time in nature. Any kind of retreat at this time would be fantastic. Just sort of, going inward. Gardening would be a good activity. Any sort of yoga, meditation, anything like that. Connecting with your family, hanging out at home, preparing home-cooked meals, that sort of thing. Of course, again, this eclipse directly impacts the Gemini and Sagittarius axis. So those who have personal planets there close to the eclipse degree, you will feel this the most. The eclipse falls into the second pada of Punarvasu, which is the truest Navamsha, the place of exaltation for the moon. Normally this would suggest a good time to begin new relationships, but with the close aspect of Saturn and Pluto, what instead you may seem is a big shift in your relationships. We'll see the status quo being challenged in every sphere of your life, so things will not remain the same as they have been. This Saturn and Pluto conjunction is actually a very important conjunction. It represents the end of a cycle that began back in November of 1982 when we last experienced this conjunction. So essentially we're beginning a new cycle that will also run for nearly 4 decades. Pluto, what it does is it amplifies the contraction of Saturn, sort of in a way that Rahu does. It separates the essential from the non-essential in the face of obstruction, the obstruction that Saturn brings. So it's a time to sharpen our awareness of all that we wish to develop with time and space available to us now. So you may experience some sort of loss, hardship, or disappointment as you learn about things in your life. It could be things, people, places, whatever it is that you have to let go of, or you have to change in some way or the other. If something is broken, you'll be forced to either fix it or to throw it out. It's best to approach the coming change by accepting the inevitable and do what must be done. Because if you ignore what soon becomes obvious or stubbornly refuse to change, then abrupt changes will be forced upon you. Sometimes in life we have to persist in the face of opposition, and at other times we have to learn to surrender to the elements of life that are out of our control. And that's what this conjunction is asking us to do. If we sustain effort through these challenges, by the end of 2020, we will have made significant progress toward major life goals. So it's a very important year to put new supportive structures in place that will endure for a very long time. This energy demands change, a big shift in direction, and your path will change as, again, we're seeing all planets in Sagittarius, the sign that represents direction. So let's talk a little bit about Punarvasu, where the eclipse takes place. And Punarvasu means another, it also means again. It translates as return of the light. So again, this can mean becoming light again yourself, so letting go and starting over, or returning to that which you had begun and redo it. It's associated with a quiver of arrows, giving the ability to strive towards a desire or a direction, a certain ambition that you have. Again, points to having a desired destination in mind first. Pointing that arrow towards it once you know what it is, and moving ahead with determination is what this energy signifies. Punarvasu is also good for meditation, healing, any sort of spiritual practice. So this week before and after are excellent times to get some perspective. And if you wanted to begin a spiritual practice, fantastic time to do that. Also, traveling, pilgrimages, laying down any new foundations is supported by Punarvasu. So it's quite a good omen to have that eclipse in the beginning of the year, like we are. Many people are going to go through major shifts this year and embark on new paths. In the beginning few months during the transformative phase, you may experience some losses, some sort of destruction, but by the end of the year, you will wonder why you did not make these changes sooner. It's the beginning of a long cycle. Not only is it a change of a decade, but the beginning of a nearly 4-decade cycle. So an excellent year to plant seeds and expect the best, so be optimistic, as new beginnings are certainly on our way. I will be writing a detailed monthly forecast posted on my website where you can read more about it. I'm also going to start doing monthly forecasts on YouTube very soon, so stay tuned for that. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share button. Thank you, folks. All the best. Cheers.